Good morning, dear students. I hope you are all good at your homes. Children, as we all know that we are facing some technical issue with the Google Meet, so we cannot continue with the live classes today, and so I am presenting you a video of the same that I had to teach you today. So it's a poem, In the Bazaars of Hyderabad, which is written by a poetess, Sarojini Naidu. So the scene is of a bazaar, that is of a marketplace, and it is situated in Hyderabad. It's a city in India. So children, this poem was written long back when the Britishers were ruling India, and the Britishers had forced Indians to purchase only the British made goods. But the Indians in protest decided to boycott those British goods, and they set up their own markets where they were selling and purchasing the goods which were prepared by the Indians. So here also in this poem, we will be talking throughout about such things which was made by the Indians. So let us continue, children. What do you sell, O ye merchants? Richly your wares are displayed. Turbans of crimson and silver, tunics of purple brocade, mirrors with panels of amber, daggers with handles of jade. So here you can see, children, that the poet is asking, as I am calling the poetess a poet, because you may call a female poet also a poet, because it's a common noun. Okay. So what is the poet saying? She is asking a question to the merchants. Now the merchants are the sellers here who have come to the market to sell their products. So she is asking the merchants, what are they selling? So what are these merchants selling? They are selling rich wares, means very bright, colorful wares. That means the objects. Then there are turbans of crimson. Crimson is a yellow color turban. You all must have seen turbans, which mostly the Sikhs wear, the men's wear. Okay. So these turbans of crimson and silver, they are also very beautiful. Tunics of purple brocade. Then there are tunics for girls or the females to wear, which is made up of brocade. Then further, the things that are displayed in the market are mirrors with panels of amber. That means the mirrors which are crafted with the panels of the mirrors, they are crafted with amber. Then daggers with handles of jade. Now daggers are something like a knife, which also have handles which are made up of jade. Now let us continue with the second stanza of the poem. What do you weigh, O ye vendors? Saffron and lentil and rice. What do you grind, O ye maidens? Sandalwood, henna and spice. What do you call, O ye peddlers? Chessmen and ivory dice. So now in the second stanza, what is the poet asking? Here also she is asking a question. She is asking a question to the vendors. Now who are the vendors? See, the vendors are the people who have a fixed place in a market where they sell their own things. So she is asking the vendors, what are they weighing? Weighing means to weigh and sell. Okay. So what are they weighing? Because they are selling it to somebody, that is why they are weighing it. So they are weighing saffron and lentil and rice. So these are eatables what they are selling. In the previous stanza, we had seen that dresses and the other things were being sold. Dresses and mirrors and turbans, such things were being sold. Here something eatables are being sold here. So saffron and lentil and rice are being sold by the vendors. Further she is asking, what do you grind, O ye maidens? So there are some women also. Maidens are young women. So there are some maidens, they are grinding something. Now what is the term grinding means? It means making something in a powdery form. So what are these women? They are doing something. They are grinding something. What are they grinding? They are grinding sandalwood. See, sandalwood is something that the girls use to beautify themselves. Okay, and it is also used to give fragrance. Then they are also grinding henna. Henna, as you all know, mehendi. So henna is also used as a beauty product by the women, and there are some other spices also that may be used in the food, or they may be also used to beautify the girls. Now what do you call OE peddlers? Now there are some peddlers also. Now who are these peddlers? Peddlers are the sellers who go from one place to the another selling their things. Means they do not have a fixed place in a market to sell. So they have a cart or something, or they're carrying something on their shoulders, and they're roaming about in the market area only to sell their products. And they're calling. See, what do you call? The word that is written here is call. They're calling out. Why are they calling out? They're shouting people. They are attracting people by the sound so that people can come to them and purchase their products. Now, what are the products they are selling? What are they calling out? They are calling out people to purchase chessmen and ivory dice. Now, what is a chessman? See, you all know that there is a game, and you all must have played also. Chess, okay? So these chessmen means the objects or the objects that are that with the help of what the chess game is played. Okay. So there are no men in the chess, but the objects with which the chess game is played is the chessmen. So they are selling chessmen and ivory dice. See, dice you all know. A dice you must have seen in the game of Ludo. Okay. So now this dice is made up of ivory. And what is ivory? Ivory is something you get from the elephant teeth. So this dice is also very expensive, as such elephant teeth are not easily found, and so this dice is also very expensive. So that means good quality things are being sold in the Indian market here in the bazaar of Hyderabad. Now let us see in the third stanza. What do you make, O ye goldsmiths? Wristlet and anklet and ring. Bells for the feet of blue pigeons, frail as a dragonfly's wing. Girdles of gold for dancers, scabbards of gold for the king. Now here, see in the first stanza, if you remember children, clothes were being sold, and turbans, tunics, such things were being sold. In the second stanza, what were the things that were being sold? They were eatables. And in the last line of the second stanza, we also found out that some playing objects were also being sold. So now in the third stanza, let us see what are the things that are being sold. Here also the poet has started the stanza with a question. And what is the question? What do you make, O ye goldsmiths? So here there are some goldsmiths and they are making something. Okay. They are making, and side by side they are also selling. So what are they making? Wristlet, anklet and ring. See, wristlet, you can make it out from the term wrist. It is something that can be worn in the wrist. See, this is the wrist, so they can wear something in the wrist. It can be bangles for girls. It can be something else other than the bangles for men also to put on. So they were making wristlet. They were making anklets, something that can be worn, that are worn by women especially in their ankles. And what is an ankle? You all know the lower part of your leg. Okay, so the women wear something in their lower part of their legs also, and that is like a chain. So that is an anklet. And they are also selling rings. Now, so ring is worn by either men or women. So they were making things there, because see, everybody has a different size and shape, and everybody has a different requirement also. So they were selling according to the people's demand. They were making and then they were selling it. Okay, then further, what is being sold here? They are making, see, these goldsmiths are only making. And as such, the term is goldsmith. So they must be making something out of gold or either silver. Okay. Now bells for the feet of the blue pigeons. So there are blue pigeons also, and they are making bells for the feet of the blue pigeons here. See, in olden days, there were no postmen as such, and as you all know, you must have heard earlier also about this, that pigeons were used to, exchange messages. The pigeons were sent from one place to the another with the letters or with the message, and they used to deliver the message to the other person. So, in almost every house there must be a pigeon as their own personal postman. So they also decorated their feet with these bells, and with that they could come to know that the pigeon has arrived or not. So that is why these bells were being made for the feet of the pigeons. And how were these bells? See, the type or the quality of the bells is being mentioned here. They were frail, that means they were so light. They were frail as a dragonfly's wing. Have you seen a dragonfly, children? See, you'll get to see when it rains, okay? It's something like a big helicopter, an insect that looks almost like a helicopter, and you must have used this term also for these dragonflies. So, as light as these dragonflies' wings are, they are almost transparent, okay? So, such light were the weight of these bells which was being made for the pigeons' feet, okay? Now, girdles of gold for the dancers. Now, what are these girdles? See, girdles is something that the dancers wear around their belly, okay? And it has bells also, it is heavily decorated. So, they were also making girdles for the dancers which was made of gold. It's specially mentioned that it was made of gold. Then they were also making scabbards. Now, scabbards is what? It's a sword. Okay, so they were making gold swords for the king. See, only a king can possess such a expensive sword. So they were making these gold swords for the Indian kings. Okay. So things made of gold, whether they are ornaments, whether it is the bell for the pigeon, or whether it is the girdle for the dancers and the scabbard for the king. So all these ornaments or the things that were made of gold is being discussed in the third stanza. Let us continue.